My dear child, I have been near you in silence, waiting for more than 2 hours, hoping you would finally notice me, hoping you would feel that gentle pull inside your heart, hoping you would pay attention to the way everything suddenly felt different around you. The pause in the air, the brief flicker on your screen, the feeling you could not explain. Because I, Archangel Michael, have been trying to reach you. This message is not appearing by accident. It is not something random crossing your path. This is urgent. A private investigator was discovered only a few hours ago. And what was uncovered is not connected to a stranger. It is connected to you, to your path, to your future, to your name. Heaven has been protecting you long before you realized something was moving against you. This investigator was not acting by himself. Someone you know, someone who should never have had access to your life, paid him to watch you, follow your movements, record your actions, and report back everything he learned. But then something unexpected happened. He was exposed. And what he revealed shocked even those who thought they knew everything. My child, listen carefully. This is important. He was never hired only to collect information. He was hired to interfere with your divine path. Yes, my beloved, hear these words closely. There is a divine path prepared over your life. Heaven has already arranged blessings for you. Healing, restoration, financial increase, relationships, and even a surprising connection that was preparing to enter your life soon. But someone noticed the change taking place within you. Someone sensed your strength growing. Someone saw you breaking away from cycles that were never meant to define you. And because of that, they tried to stand between you and what God prepared for you. But heaven stepped in. The investigator was caught. And the one who sent him has no idea what is coming next. Because God himself has now entered this situation. That is why I waited for you. That is why I refuse to leave until you hear this completely. My child, every piece connects together. The dreams you've been having. The unexpected call. The repeating numbers. Even that moment when the mirror cracked. None of it happened without reason. These were signs that you were being observed, but also guarded. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you felt recently as though someone was paying attention to you? Have you ever looked around and felt eyes on you? Have you heard your name in a moment when nobody was nearby? It was not simply your imagination. Now listen carefully because this is where your choice becomes important. After this message, something will appear before you. It may look familiar. An old relationship. An opportunity. A pattern from your past. But it is a trap. It will look comfortable on the outside while hiding manipulation underneath. The same person who tried to interfere with your life will attempt to return. They will appear different. They will speak the words you've wanted to hear. They will act sorry. They will seem sincere. But heaven says clearly, do not reopen that door. Do not answer. Do not go backward. What belongs to you is ahead of you, not behind you. Subscribe now if you are receiving this at the right moment because God is drawing near to open hearts, and yours is one of them. This is not merely a message. This is confirmation. Heaven sees your heart. The angels know your pain. And this message carried your name before your day even began. Let me continue with what the investigator revealed after being exposed. Something frightening came to light. He spoke about a document. A false document containing your information. Changed. Altered. Used in an attempt to delay something that was supposed to benefit you financially. It could have changed everything. But heaven refused to allow it. God intervened. And last night, someone noticed an error inside that document. That mistake led directly to the discovery and the arrest. Coincidence? No. Divine intervention. So listen closely. Do not push this aside. Do not tell yourself you'll return later. Because this message is unfolding right now. Your peace, your health, and your next step depend on what you choose after reading it. Beginning today, someone will try reaching out to you 3 times. Do not respond to the second attempt. Tomorrow morning, a bird may appear near your window. Consider it a reminder from heaven. You will hear the words, "Watch closely," somewhere in life or through media. That is my reminder to stay aware. Do not believe everything you see. I know you're tired of feeling everything so deeply. Tired of forgiving. Tired of hoping. But do you know why you feel so much? Because your heart was created to receive divine messages. That is why you have faced opposition. That is why people have tried to dim your light. But hear me now. No weapon formed against you will succeed. Not in this season. Not in the next. Not ever again. You are not merely protected. You are chosen. And the one who tried to work against you will soon watch their plans fall apart. Truth is coming forward. Your name will be cleared. And a financial blessing will begin to unfold as restoration for what you endured in silence. And my child, when heaven begins restoring what was delayed, it also places a clear path before you so you do not walk into your next season with fear, confusion, or uncertainty. My child, I see the struggle you have been facing, the stress about finances, the silent worries that stay in your heart, and the moments where you feel uncertain about what comes next. You have been asking for peace, and that answer is already on its way. You are not meant to stay stuck in fear, you are meant to walk forward with purpose, with faith, and with clear steps every day. That is why a simple system has been placed in front of you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system, a path where each day brings you a focused prayer, a small financial action, and clear direction to help you move ahead. No pressure, no confusion, just steady progress toward peace and stability. If something inside you feels ready, if you are ready to change your situation, take that first step today. This could be the moment your life begins to change. You will find the link in the description, and in the comments below. Because restoration is not only about what heaven releases to you, it is also about the wisdom you carry as you step into it. From this moment forward, speak less and observe more. Silence is your strength. Wisdom is your protection. Heaven is watching and heaven is pleased with your growth. And tonight, I will remain near you. If you feel a sudden chill during the night, do not fear. Think of it as a reminder that you are not alone. I will be standing watch over your home, your spirit, and your journey. You will not fall. You will not fail. You will rise. Because the same people who tried to investigate you will soon face investigations of their own, both earthly and divine. Now listen. Within 3 days, an unexpected message will arrive. A real message. It may come through a phone call, an email, or someone appearing unexpectedly. Do not panic. Do not react quickly. Listen first. Because that message begins the next chapter of your life. It will move you closer to the person meant for you. Yes, even romantically. Alignment is already taking place. This message, this very moment, is a turning point. If you dismiss it, you may delay what is coming. But if you stay focused, pray tonight, and ask for confirmation, tomorrow will feel different. God asked me to remind you that His plans for you remain untouched. No enemy, no hidden opponent, no false friend can stop them now. If you are still here, comment, "I receive this with faith," and subscribe. This is the beginning of something new. I, Archangel Michael, now place divine protection around your heart. Nothing will reach you unless it carries truth. No door will open unless it serves your purpose. No one will enter your life unless their intentions are clean. You have waited long enough. Now your season begins. Your name will be spoken in places of blessing. Those who wanted to see you fail will watch your rise quietly. Their season has ended. Heaven's season has begun. And yes, your name is on the list. Stay ready. Stay observant. Stay strong. You have never been alone. You never were. Archangel Michael sparkles. This is your message. Return to it whenever fear tries to return, because truth breaks every lie. Read it again whenever you forget your value. Your protection is not distant. It is personal. Heaven knows your name. This is your confirmation. This is your season. Walk forward in the light no one can take away from you. And now that you're still here, still reading, still carrying feelings you cannot fully explain, hear this. You were never meant to carry shame. You were never meant to carry confusion. You were never meant to carry the burdens others placed on your shoulders. You were never meant to move through life questioning your worth. Because the truth is simple. You did nothing wrong. You were chosen to break patterns that others accepted. And when you began changing, growing, and seeing your value, everything shifted. And that shift frightened them. Because when a person finally understands they were never the person others claimed they were, when they choose healing instead of revenge, light instead of darkness, peace instead of constantly trying to please everyone, heaven begins to move in ways no earthly force can stop. That is why this investigation was uncovered. That is why the attempt to harm your future has now revealed the people hiding behind masks. And I need you to hold this truth close to your heart. They no longer have power over you. That old cycle has ended. The ones who worked in secret, manipulating situations where no one could see, are now being observed by forces greater than themselves. Yes, even earthly authorities. Soon you will hear pieces of their downfall. Not because you wished harm upon them, but because God believes in justice. And when it comes to those He has chosen, He does not ignore what has been done. And beloved, you are deeply chosen. I know you've been asking why things have felt so difficult lately. Why your energy suddenly drops. Why people disappeared without explanation. Why someone you trusted became distant almost overnight. It was all part of the revealing. God was exposing hearts. Heaven was rearranging the people around you, because the season ahead cannot be shared with those who secretly wanted you to fail. And now, because you stayed faithful, because you kept moving forward even when prayers seemed unanswered, because you refused to lose your light in the darkness, heaven is preparing to bless you openly. Not with a single miracle, but with many. You'll see it in your relationships. You'll see it in your finances. You'll see it in your health. You'll see it in your happiness. A happiness you haven't felt for a long time. A peace that won't require explanation. And when it arrives, do not make yourself smaller. Do not hide your victory because others refuse to celebrate it. They had their opportunity. They had their chance to stand beside you. They chose differently. But God is never late. And even now, angels are preparing a table before those who doubted you. Not to shame them, but to lift you higher. Because your story is about to be told in a new way. The lies will no longer carry weight. Your name is already being restored in the spiritual realm. Soon it will be restored in the physical world as well. Documents, messages, confirmations. Something official will reach you that reveals what others tried to conceal. When you see it, you'll remember this moment. And tears may come, not because of pain, but because you'll finally feel understood. You'll finally realize the delay was never denial. It was protection from heaven. You were hidden for a reason. Guarded. Preserved. Prepared. And now heaven says you're ready. Ready to enter places that once seemed closed. Ready for conversations that once made you nervous. Ready to trust again. Ready to dream again. Ready to love again. Everything that was gathered against you has now become proof of your strength. Proof of how protected you are when heaven stands beside you. So tonight, rest knowing that the battle around your life has changed. You are no longer standing before judgment. You have become the testimony. And perhaps the most beautiful truth is this. You never needed revenge. You only needed revelation. And now that it has arrived, now that truth has been uncovered, promise yourself and promise God that you will not return to small thinking. Do not return to constant explanations. Do not return to doubting the gifts inside you. You are stronger than people told you. And now you have seen it with your own eyes. You are living proof that a miracle is already moving. And as this miracle continues unfolding, even during the quiet moments when nobody sees what you're carrying inside, remember this. None of your pain was wasted. Every tear shed in private. Every sleepless night. Every morning you forced yourself to keep going despite the weight inside your heart. Heaven saw every moment. Nothing escaped God's attention. Nothing was ignored. The reason certain people watched you, studied you, and tried to gather information about you was because your light disturbed what was dark inside them. Your presence was too pure for their plans. The truth you carried could not survive inside their lies. And instead of becoming bitter, you chose kindness. Instead of becoming cold, you kept your heart open. Instead of speaking with cruelty, you chose grace. And child, that made you dangerous in the spiritual realm. You have no idea how many traps were prepared that never reached you because angels blocked them. You have no idea how many attempts were made to twist your story, only for God to confuse those plans before they succeeded. And now, through this message, He is removing the final layer of confusion. Soon you will clearly see who truly stood with you. You'll recognize who stood against you. And you'll understand who only entered your life to delay your progress. Do not panic when those faces are familiar. Do not be shocked when those names belong to people you once cared about. This is not betrayal. This is clarity. And clarity brings power. The power to decide who is allowed access to the next version of you. Because the chapter ahead will not resemble the chapter behind you. The next chapter will feel like justice wrapped in peace. Things will begin falling into place naturally. You'll wake up carrying a calm you haven't known before. Places that once intimidated you will suddenly feel different. Confidence will rise inside you. Not pride. Confidence. Because you'll finally understand the authority heaven placed within you. The same authority others tried to bury beneath shame, rumors, and manipulation. But God says, no more hiding. No more shrinking back. No more silence. Your voice is rising. Your gifts are waking up. Your season has arrived. And that investigator was the final attempt to delay what was coming. The last warning before the blessing was released. Heaven allowed the truth to surface not to frighten you, but to show you that your enemies can no longer work in darkness. Light is shining now. Everything hidden is being exposed. So do not be surprised if people suddenly begin telling the truth. Do not be shocked when someone returns carrying information they've hidden for years. Their voices may shake. Their words may stumble. They may become uncomfortable standing before you because they'll finally understand you were never ordinary. You were anointed. And when someone is anointed, every plan created against them eventually turns into fuel for their elevation. Take this message seriously. Do not let it become something you read and forget. Let it settle deep within your spirit. Let yourself feel the protection surrounding you. Let your soul rise again. Because the version of you that stayed hidden, that doubted itself, that kept breaking under pressure, that version is gone. Standing here now is someone renewed. Someone walking with clarity. Someone carrying confidence. Someone holding a divine assignment that cannot be cancelled. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. And as you sit here now, perhaps with your heart beating faster, your thoughts racing, maybe even tears gathering because something inside you recognizes this truth, let me speak directly to that part of you that has been afraid to hope again. You no longer have to pretend everything is fine. You no longer need to act untouched by what happened. You don't need to pretend the silence didn't hurt. You don't need to pretend the betrayal didn't wound you. You don't need to pretend the waiting didn't almost break you. Heaven saw every moment you knelt searching for answers. Every prayer that seemed unanswered. Every tear. Every question. And now those answers are arriving. Louder than the lies. Louder than the fear. Louder than that voice that sometimes tells you that you're not enough. My child, you are more than enough. You are the reason this message arrived today. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Today. Because something has shifted in the spiritual realm. A barrier has fallen. A new doorway has opened. And your name is already written on it. Don't waste your energy asking how. Don't spend your time wondering why someone went so far as to investigate your life, search through your past, or dig into your silence. The truth is simple. They could not understand how you were healing without their approval. They could not understand how you were rising without their validation. They could not understand how you were shining in places where they never belonged. And that confused them. It angered them. And so they kept watching. But God says they watched for too long, and now they themselves have been revealed. The same people who tried to observe you from the shadows have now been uncovered in the spiritual realm. Their influence can no longer reach you. Their access has been removed. And this message serves as your spiritual notice. You are free from unseen chains. Free from emotional control. Free from every negative word spoken over your name. And not only free, but favored. The next time someone asks how you're doing, you won't force a smile. You'll answer from a place of genuine peace. Because very soon your life will become so aligned, so guarded, so filled with divine flow that you'll barely remember what it felt like to question yourself. You'll walk through doors carrying confidence, not confidence built on pride, but confidence built on truth. The truth that heaven stands with you. The truth that angels surround you. The truth that Archangel Michael protects you. The truth that the investigator sent to harm your future only activated a divine protection system that no human power can cancel. And that protection is already working. That is why you've been feeling everything more deeply lately. That is why certain people disappeared without explanation. That is why you've been spending more time alone. Not because something is wrong with you, but because heaven has been adjusting your frequency. You were never meant to blend into the crowd. You've always been different. That's why your presence changes a room. That's why your silence makes some people uneasy. That's why your truth awakens emotions in people who cannot explain why they feel affected by you. Because you carry something sacred. Something ancient. Something touched by heaven. And now that you've come this far without giving up, heaven is restoring everything others believed you had lost. With increase. The love you gave that was never returned is coming back multiplied. The time you invested in people who walked away is returning as divine relationships that will pour into you. The opportunities you missed because of delays, deception, and confusion are being replaced with doors you never knew existed. And my child, when heaven begins replacing what confusion delayed, it also gives you the direction to walk into those new doors with faith, peace, and steady confidence. My child, I see the weight you have been carrying. The quiet worries about money, the stress you rarely speak about, the nights when your mind refuses to rest. You have been praying for peace, and your prayers have been heard. You are not meant to walk this journey in confusion and fear. You are meant to walk with faith, with clarity, and with daily direction. That is why a simple path has been placed before you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system. Each day you will be guided with a gentle prayer, a simple money step, and clear direction to help you regain control. Nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated. Just small faithful steps leading you toward peace and stability. If your heart feels ready, begin today. Do not delay this moment. The link is in the description and in the comments below. Because the doors opening before you are not only about receiving what was lost, they are about becoming steady enough to build what heaven is placing in your hands. And this is being released now. Not someday. Not after another test. Now. Because you've already shown heaven you are strong enough. You've already walked through darkness without becoming darkness yourself. And now the fire inside you is no longer about survival. It's about building. Creating. Expanding. Establishing. You are entering a season where foundations are being laid. And nothing, no investigation, no past mistake, no spoken curse, no hidden plan will stand in your way again. This is your divine approval. Your spiritual green light. Your confirmation. And if you felt from the beginning that this message was speaking directly to you, it's because it was. It was written for your spirit before you even knew you would need these words. Before the investigator was discovered. Before the lies started spreading. Before the whispers began. Heaven already had an answer prepared. And this message is that answer. You were not led here by accident. You were brought here because a divine alert was activated around your life. Something hidden from your eyes but never hidden from your spirit. Even though you've been feeling it physically. The sudden anxiety. The dreams that leave you waking up unsettled. The old memories rising unexpectedly as if asking to be released. All of it has been part of a spiritual awakening leading you toward freedom. And now that truth is rising to the surface, now that the layers are being pulled back and the faces behind the games are becoming visible, you must make an important choice. Not a choice driven by fear. Not a choice driven by revenge. A choice of alignment. Because the moment you accept that you are not who others try to reduce you to, the moment you stop shrinking, stop hiding, stop doubting the voice inside you, your true timeline begins accelerating. And I promise you, child, what is ahead is far better than anything left behind. What is coming is not another repeat of the past. It is not a weaker version of what broke your heart. It is not another lesson disguised as pain. It is real. Divine. Unstoppable. But you must release the old story. The story where you're always abandoned. Always misunderstood. Always overlooked. That chapter has ended. The tide is turning. You are no longer living at the mercy of other people's decisions. You are being positioned as the one making decisions now. You are becoming the one people look toward. You are becoming the one holding the pen that rewrites what was once distorted. That is why the enemy worked so hard to confuse you. To delay you. To isolate you. Because if you ever reach this level of awareness, this level of divine clarity, nothing would be able to stop you. And now you've arrived. Even if it doesn't yet look like victory on the outside, trust what I'm telling you. The victory has already been secured in the spirit. That is why the investigator was exposed. That is why this message found you. That is why this exact moment exists. Because heaven needed you to know something. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And your story does not end in betrayal. It transforms into revelation. So keep breathing. Keep trusting. Keep moving forward. You do not need to rush. You do not need to chase. You do not need to force anything. Everything created for you is already making its way toward you. Drawn by your truth. Called by your frequency. Guarded by your angels. Ordained by God. And within the next 48 hours, you'll begin seeing proof. Proof that the pain had purpose. Proof that the silence carried meaning. Proof that the weight was not carried in vain. Heaven is sending confirmations. Clear ones. Direct ones. Impossible to ignore. Someone will speak a phrase you've quietly prayed about. A message will arrive that reminds you of your value. You'll feel peace settling into places where chaos once lived. And when that happens, smile. Not because you've taken control, but because you've finally surrendered and allowed God to take his place. You did it, child. You reached the other side of the storm. The clouds are clearing now. The road is opening before you. And your name is already being spoken in places your spirit has gone ahead to prepare. This is not wishful thinking. This is prophecy beginning to unfold. And as this first chapter unfolds, something sacred is awakening within you. Even if you cannot fully explain it yet. This is more than healing. This is remembering. You are remembering who you were before disappointment arrived. Before betrayal entered your life. Before delays tried to convince you to give up. You are reconnecting with the version of yourself that still believed in good things. The version that trusted. The version that woke each day expecting beauty. And little by little, that version is returning. Stronger. Wiser. Gentler where it matters. Stronger where it counts. Because you are no longer naive. You are no longer walking with blind hope. You are walking with divine discernment. And that is what makes you unstoppable. That is what frightens those who tried to control your story. They believed they were writing the ending. They forgot that God is the author. They did not realize that while they prepared traps, heaven was preparing your elevation. They did not realize that the rooms where your name was mocked would one day become rooms where your name is spoken with honor. And child, that day is approaching faster than you think. That is why your body felt it before your mind did. The racing heart. The restless nights. The chills. The heaviness becoming lighter. Your soul already knows. For hours it has been celebrating quietly. Whispering, get ready. It's happening. Because the delay that once haunted you is breaking apart. The fear that wrapped around your potential is dissolving. And something new is taking its place. Something holy. A fresh energy. A new rhythm. A divine alignment no human being can interrupt. Not the one who left. Not the one who hired the investigator. Not the one who smiled while hiding lies. They no longer matter. Because this chapter was written without them. This chapter was written with your healing in mind. With your joy in mind. With your true love in mind. That is why I, Archangel Michael, waited so long just to deliver this message to you, to hold your attention long enough to remind you of something important. You were never created merely to survive. You were created for favor, for grace, for heavenly recognition. And beginning now, your life will start reflecting that reality. Paths will appear where obstacles once stood. People will finally see you for who you truly are instead of who they assumed you were. And the hearts that belong in your journey will recognize the depth of your love, the strength within your spirit, and the beauty of who you are becoming. You do not owe your past an explanation. You do not owe your pain a permanent place in your future. You do not owe your doubters proof. What you owe is this, to yourself. To walk forward with confidence. To speak with kindness. To love without apology. To believe without hesitation that you have entered your divine season at last. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them question how everything changed so quickly. And when they ask, you will smile. Not from pride, but from peace. And you will say, because heaven stepped in. Because I listened. Because I finally trusted what was always waiting for me. And when those words leave your lips, when your voice carries the quiet certainty of someone who walked through fire and emerged shining instead of destroyed, the universe itself will seem to pause. Not in surprise. In recognition. Because what is happening now is bigger than a change in circumstances. It is a transformation of your entire atmosphere. The energy surrounding you is shifting. The things that once drained your spirit will lose their access. The people who once spoke over your destiny with jealousy, confusion, or doubt will become quiet. Not because you forced their silence, but because your peace has become louder than their opinions. And you will begin noticing something so gentle, so sacred, that at first you may question it. Ease. Things that once felt impossible will begin moving with very little effort. Conversations that once left you feeling weak will no longer affect your spirit. And your smile, the one they tried to take away, will return. Not as a mask. As a reflection of a soul finally breathing again. This ease. This flow. This favor. It is not luck. It is not chance. It is not simply because you found the right road. It is because God redirected your steps. Even when you did not understand the detour. Even when you cried during the night asking why everything was happening the way it was. He was guiding you around destruction. He was removing people who were quietly delaying your progress. He was protecting you from the very things you begged him not to take away. And now you are finally beginning to understand. Now each breath carries clarity that once felt impossible to reach. You are no longer explaining your worth to people who never wanted to understand it. You are no longer pouring your energy into empty places hoping something would return. Now you are being filled. Filled with purpose. Filled with strength. Filled with a love that never asks you to become smaller. The kind of love that expands alongside you. That grows as you grow. That celebrates your light instead of competing with it. And this is not only romantic love, though yes, that is coming too. And when it arrives, it will feel like everything you prayed for and more. This is also love from life itself. Love from the road you're walking. Love from within your own spirit. You are going to fall in love with your life again. You are going to look around and feel something that has been missing for a long time. Safety. Not only physical safety. Emotional safety. Spiritual safety. Mental safety. Safe enough to dream again. Safe enough to laugh freely. Safe enough to speak your truth without fear. Safe enough to simply exist as yourself. And when that moment arrives, maybe during a walk, maybe while getting ready for the day, maybe in the quiet after a long evening, don't ignore it. Close your eyes. Take a breath. And say, thank you, God, for never letting go of me when I let go of myself. Because he never did. Not once. Even when you doubted. Even when you wandered. Even when you questioned everything. He remained there. Guiding. Protecting. Loving. Preparing. And now, because you remained. Because you listened. Because you chose to keep moving when you felt too weak to continue, heaven is preparing to bless you in a way that silences every lie ever spoken against your name. You are not merely going to survive. You are going to rise. You are going to shine. You are going to live in such alignment with who you were created to be that people will stop and say, something about you is different. And you will smile. Not because you became someone new. Because you remembered who you have always been. And nothing will make you forget again. And once you remember who you are, once you truly see yourself not through pain, not through rejection, not through the opinions of people who only saw pieces of you, but through heaven's vision, you will begin noticing something extraordinary. The atmosphere around you will continue changing. You will enter rooms and feel peace instead of pressure. You will look into mirrors and instead of searching for flaws, you will see strength. A survivor. A warrior. A soul that refused to surrender even when life tried to make it disappear. You will finally feel at home within yourself. And that is one of the greatest gifts a person can receive. Because when you are at peace with yourself, the outside world loses its power to shake you. Words will not wound you the same way. Silence will not destroy you. Delays will not discourage you. You will understand that this journey was never only about reaching a destination. It was about becoming someone capable of carrying the blessing that is now approaching. And child, that blessing is not small. It is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is powerful. It is lasting. And it belongs to you. It is the kind of blessing that makes people who walked away wonder why they left. The kind that changes not only your life but the generations connected to you. And that is why resistance appeared before this moment. That is why old faces returned just when clarity was arriving. That is why heaviness showed up again right before your breakthrough. Because resistance always appears where restoration is about to begin. But this time you did not fall into it. You paused. You prayed. You waited. You listened. You grew. And because you survived what was meant to break you, you are now ready to receive what was always meant to reach you. Now let me reveal something sacred. Something only heaven could show. That investigator who was exposed did not only carry information. He carried energy. The residue of those who sent him. Energy rooted in envy. Manipulation. Obsession. But what they fail to understand is that when someone interferes with a soul protected by angels, they do not meet an ordinary barrier. They meet divine fire. And that is exactly what happened. Darkness was sent toward your life. But heaven interrupted it. Heaven protected you. And the darkness assigned to your future has been reversed, cancelled, and consumed by light. Every word spoken against your destiny is being rewritten by God's hand even now. You will notice it in the peace returning to your mornings. You will notice it when strangers show unexpected kindness. You will notice it when someone reaches out simply to say, "You've been on my mind." These are not meaningless moments. These are confirmations. Proof that your timeline has shifted. Proof that your story is no longer controlled by people who fail to recognize your value. Proof that your future is no longer delayed by those who work behind closed doors. Because every door they tried to close is being replaced by opportunities no one can block. And heaven is opening them one by one. And that perfect moment is closer than you think. That is why I need you to keep this truth close to your spirit. You have entered a season of heavenly restoration. What does that truly mean? It means everything that was taken from you unfairly, everything lost through deception, manipulation, spiritual resistance, confusion, and hidden attacks is returning, but not in the same condition. It is returning purified, restored, increased, and blessed. You are not receiving the life you once settled for. You are receiving the life that was prepared for the healed version of you, not the wounded version. And that healed version is no longer something far away. It is becoming reality right now. I know a part of you still wants to protect itself from disappointment because life has disappointed you before. But listen carefully, beloved. This season is not the same as the ones before it. The difference is that heaven is moving with you now. The difference is that you are no longer carrying everything by yourself. The difference is that your steps are flowing in divine timing. And when heaven leads, failure loses its power. What looks like delay becomes guidance. What feels like pain becomes preparation. What seems like silence becomes holy space where blessings are being prepared. Even now, your story is being spoken among angels who are carrying answers and opportunities toward you. So do not be surprised when peaceful sleep returns. Do not be surprised when your body begins feeling stronger without explanation. Do not be surprised when unexpected provision appears exactly when you need it. Do not be surprised when someone from your past reaches out, not to create confusion, but to offer truth and accountability. This is more than life improving. This is divine restoration in motion. This is the harvest from every tear you shed in private. Every moment you wanted to quit but chose to continue. Every time you answered harshness with kindness. Every time you chose love when others chose cruelty. God witnessed every one of those moments. He never overlooks faithfulness. He never ignores loyalty. He never forgets a heart that remains gentle in a difficult world. And your heart, beloved, has always been sensitive enough to carry messages from heaven. That is why you feel things so deeply. That is why you notice when something feels wrong before evidence appears. That is why people reveal things to you without understanding why they trust you. They feel safe around your light. And now that your light is being awakened fully, people are about to see what heaven always knew. You are chosen. Not for popularity. Not for attention. But for purpose. For healing. For truth. For love. For a divine impact greater than you can currently imagine. So take a deep breath and allow that truth to settle inside you. You did not arrive here by accident. You were guided here. This is your moment. Not later. Not someday. Right now. Heaven is no longer waiting. God is no longer waiting. You are prepared now. Prepared to move forward with courage. Prepared to speak honestly. Prepared to love again without constantly expecting pain. Because now you move with angelic protection. Now your words carry divine confidence. Now your steps are guided by clarity instead of fear. And I tell you this with certainty, your name is already being spoken in places you have not yet entered. People are already discussing your character in rooms that hold opportunities for your future. And those opportunities are approaching faster than you realize. So remain ready. Remain peaceful. Remain faithful. And above all, remain yourself. Because your true self, your awakened self, your spirit-aligned self is exactly who this world needs in this season. And as you step deeper into that awareness, into that sacred remembrance of your identity, prepare your heart for something you have quietly hoped for while almost losing faith in it. True alignment. The kind where life begins matching your growth. The kind where the people around you reflect your healing instead of resisting it. The kind where your work feels meaningful instead of draining. The kind where conversations feel safe instead of heavy. That season is approaching. It may not arrive with dramatic signs. It may begin through simple moments. A stranger offering kindness exactly when you need it. A song speaking directly to your situation. A message arriving precisely when you were beginning to lose hope. These moments are not random. This is often how heaven works. Gentle, yet undeniable. Quiet, yet powerful. And as these signs begin appearing more often, you will know that the spiritual interference surrounding you has been broken. You will know that the investigator's exposure did more than uncover information. It caused a collapse within the very plans formed against you. And now heaven is using everything they tried to use against you as part of your restoration. That is how personal this is. That is how deeply God is involved. He is not simply observing. He is actively building something that will remain long after this season passes. Something that will bless people beyond you. So whenever fear attempts to return, whenever the old voice tries convincing you that these promises are impossible, stop for a moment. Breathe. Remember where you have already been. You survived the fire. What lies ahead now is the harvest. The sweetness. The overflow. And it is not only for you. It is for the version of you that remained kind through betrayal. The version of you that held on to hope when everything suggested surrender. The version of you that still believed in love after being hurt. This blessing belongs to that version of you. Not because you earned it, but because you never completely stopped believing. Even during your hardest moments, your spirit continued whispering, there must be something greater than this. Heaven heard that whisper as clearly as a shout. That is why the investigation was stopped. That is why hidden plans were exposed. That is why truth is rising while deception falls apart. Because when God declares that enough is enough, every opposing force must move aside. And now that the interference has been removed, the road ahead is opening. You will see it through unexpected favor. Through sudden breakthroughs. Through relationships that feel like home. Through answers to prayers you barely remember praying. Because heaven never forgets. God never forgets. Everything you thought had been overlooked was simply being stored, protected, and prepared for the exact moment it could bless you most. And now, beloved, that time has arrived. If emotion rises inside you while reading this, do not mistake it for weakness. It is recognition. It is your spirit remembering what your thoughts forgot long ago. Remembering that you are a living miracle still unfolding. Remembering that even in your darkest season, angels walked beside you. Remembering that even when your voice shook, your faith remained standing. That is why this breakthrough is not only about things you can touch. It is spiritual. It is within you. It is everlasting. And it will remain. Not because the world suddenly decided to give you what you deserved, but because God has finally removed what stood in the way of what was always yours. No more barriers. No more pretending. No more making yourself smaller so others can feel comfortable. From this point on, your light will shine freely. Your truth will be respected without resistance. Your name will be spoken with respect instead of gossip. Your presence will bring calm into places that once felt filled with conflict. Because you are not who you used to be. You have changed. You have matured. You have become the very person you needed when you were hurting. And now life is ready to meet the healed, restored, sacred version of you. So remain centered. Remain thankful. Remain aligned. Not with noise, but with peace. Not with reaction, but with wisdom. Because this season is not about chasing. It is about receiving. And that, child, may be your greatest lesson. To receive what is finally arriving. To stop pushing it away with overthinking. To stop questioning your value when goodness finally knocks. To stop running from love because old love caused pain. What is coming now is not the same as what came before. What is coming now has been prepared specifically for the new version of you. The healed version. The version that is not perfect but is perfectly aligned with heaven's rhythm. And because of that alignment, blessings will move naturally toward you. You will not have to fight for attention anymore. The right people will recognize your spirit. The right opportunities will open without force. And your name will live in the hearts of those meant to walk beside you in the future. That is what happens when you live in truth. That is what happens when heaven declares it is your season. And I, Archangel Michael, have remained beside you through it all. I was there when plans were formed against you. I was there when you wondered why people hurt you after all the love you gave. I was there when you stared into the darkness asking if believing in something greater made you foolish. And I am here now to tell you that you were never foolish. You were always chosen. Everything that tried to destroy you has become part of your testimony. A story you will one day tell with strength instead of sorrow. A story that will help set others free. A story that years from now will remind you that this moment changed everything. This was never only a warning. It was a spiritual shift. The wheel has turned. The light has returned. Truth has wrapped itself around your soul. And what comes next is more than restoration. It is redemption. It is recognition. It is reward. And now that these words have reached the hidden places of your heart, the places few people ever truly see, I need you to know something the world could never teach you. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a gift from the Spirit. You feel deeply because your soul is deeply connected to heaven. You love completely because you were created to bring healing simply through your presence. And yes, that is why so many tried to take from you. That is why certain people entered your life wearing masks, acting as if they loved you while quietly envying your light. That is why you have endured more than many people ever could. Yet through it all, you continued shining. You continued hoping. You continued making room for others even when you felt empty yourself. Heaven has seen all of that. Heaven has honored all of that. And now heaven is returning it. Not through temporary rewards, but through lasting favor. The kind of favor that follows your name. The kind of favor that enters rooms before you do and changes the atmosphere. You will begin noticing it in small ways first. People treating you with more kindness. Strangers helping you unexpectedly. Delays that protect you from things you never saw coming. Answers arriving faster than before. This is not luck. This is spiritual authority becoming active in your life. And understand this as well. You do not need to earn it. You already paid the price through endurance. Through choosing light when darkness surrounded you. Through choosing faith when fear tried to take over. Through believing even while your hands trembled. This is not a reward for perfection. It is the fulfillment of a promise. A promise spoken over your spirit from the day you entered this world. A promise that said, this one will carry light. And you have carried it. Through pain. Through heartbreak. Through rejection. Through betrayal. You carried it anyway. And now life is preparing to return everything you have carried inside. The kindness. The grace. The beauty. The truth. All of it is returning multiplied. Because what was taken from you no longer belongs to the past. It belongs to your future where it will be restored beyond what you imagined. The very things others tried to take will return to your hands increased. And the people who tried to stand in your way will simply watch as you walk confidently into your purpose. You will not need to defend yourself. You will not need to explain anything. Your life will speak louder than every lie that was ever told. Your peace will answer for you. Your joy will become justice. Your stability will become your testimony. You will become so rooted in truth that chaos will no longer know how to find you. And I ask you for one promise, child. Promise that you will protect this new version of yourself. Promise that you will not silence your voice just to keep others comfortable. Promise that you will not ignore your inner knowing just to avoid conflict. Promise that you will not keep giving beyond your limits simply to prove you deserve love. Because you already deserve it. You are already enough. You are already chosen. And anyone who cannot recognize that, anyone who expects you to hide, perform, or become smaller just to make them comfortable, does not belong where you're going. This new chapter of your life only has room for honesty, for pure love, for shared peace, for relationships that come from alignment instead of attachment. You're not simply creating a different life. You're walking into the life heaven has been preparing for you from the beginning. That's why certain things had to break apart. That's why some people had to leave. That's why that investigator was exposed. God was removing obstacles from your path. You could not carry your next blessing while still holding the weight of what nearly destroyed you. You could not receive this level of favor while remaining connected to people who only existed to distract you. And now that the way is clear, truly clear, you'll begin to notice how quickly everything starts changing. Your energy will come back. Your vision will become sharper. Your creativity will grow because you're finally moving without interference, finally breathing without pressure, finally advancing without resistance. And child, when I say rise, I mean something deeper than success or recognition. I mean a rising of the soul. A rise where peace becomes natural. A rise where joy becomes your strength. A rise where love feels like home. And I promise you, nothing can take that from you. Not even those who once tried to destroy it before it could begin. Because the same heaven that watched them work against you is now setting a place before them for you. And when you finally sit there, when you finally experience the peace that once felt impossible, sit there with grace. Not with bitterness. Not with revenge. Because your blessing was never about proving anyone wrong. It was always about proving that love wins. That light finds a way. That God always arrives. Even when he seems quiet at first, he came through for you. He sent this message through me, Archangel Michael, not because you needed another video or another post to scroll past, but because heaven knew you needed these words right now. Because your breakthrough is so close that darkness is afraid. That's why the attacks felt stronger. That's why your emotions have felt heavier lately. Because what is coming is so powerful that darkness made one final attempt to stop it. But it failed. And now all that remains is for you to receive. Receive the blessing. Receive the answers. Receive the new direction. And move forward without guilt. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are not proud for protecting your peace. You are not wrong for expecting love that does not wound you. You are finally becoming the person God created you to be. The world is ready. Heaven is ready. And now you are ready too. And now that you've come this far, now that you've allowed these words to reach the deepest places within you, the places that stayed silent for too long, the places that have been waiting for this exact moment, understand this. This is not the ending of a message. It is the beginning of something new, something holy, something lasting. Because when truth enters your spirit like this, it remains there. It becomes part of who you are. You carry it in your eyes, your voice, and the way you enter a room. From this moment forward, people will notice. They may not understand what changed, but they will feel it. They will feel that your spirit no longer bends for what once broke you. They will feel the protection surrounding you. A peace that cannot be explained, only felt. Because what surrounds you now is more than awareness. It is divine presence. My presence. Heaven's presence. And child, that kind of presence makes darkness shake. It silences envy. It tears apart plans that were designed to trap you. And it attracts what is genuine, true love, aligned opportunities, trustworthy people, and doors that no one can close. So move differently now. Not in fear. Not in caution. But in powerful peace. Walk more slowly but with purpose. Speak less but with greater truth. Trust your intuition because it is no longer clouded by fear or confusion. You are connected now, clearly and directly, to the divine. Nothing can interrupt that connection unless you allow it. So guard your peace like a crown. Protect your joy like treasure. Speak your truth like the sword it was meant to be. Not for battle, but for boundaries. Not for conflict, but for wisdom. And you will have it. The wisdom. The clarity. The voice that no longer shakes. Because from now on, you are not reacting, you are choosing. You are not proving, you are embodying. You are not surviving, you are rising. And every decision you make from this place of alignment will shape a future so beautiful and filled with light that even your past will bow before it. Let me leave you with something that will keep you steady. When the world tries again to shake you, remember this. They tried to stop you because they saw what was coming. They saw your light awakening. They saw your potential becoming impossible to control. They saw how people responded to your presence, and they knew that if you ever discovered your true power, they could never control you again. And now you know. Now it is too late for them. You have crossed into truth. And it will not only change your life. It will affect everyone connected to you. Your healing will spread. Your peace will awaken others. Your words will reach hearts that believed they were beyond hope. And your story, the one they tried to erase, will become the reason someone else survives. That is your power. That is your gift. That is your anointing. And it cannot be stolen. It cannot be duplicated. It cannot be undone. And yes, you will face tests again. Darkness never completely stops trying. But you will never fall the way you once did, because now you carry the memory of this moment, this message, this truth. You will remember how it felt when your spirit was spoken to with love. When God reached toward you through words and held your pain. When heaven paused long enough to remind you that you matter. That you are seen. That you are chosen. And that you are never walking alone. Even on the quiet days. Even when the sky seems still. I, Archangel Michael, remain beside you, shield raised, sword ready, wings spread over your home, your thoughts, your dreams, and your future. I have been assigned to you not for a single moment or one miracle, but for the journey ahead. And I will not leave. And now, as this message comes to its close, breathe with me. Breathe in this truth. I am protected. I am loved. I am ready. Say it again, this time out loud. I am protected. I am loved. I am ready. Let your body receive it. Let your mind believe it. Let your soul return to it whenever life tries to make you forget. You have spent enough time forgetting, hiding, and shrinking. Now is the time to expand, to rise, to become the person heaven always knew you were. This is your moment. This is your sign. This is your confirmation. And if your heart is still shaking while reading these words, that is not fear. That is release. That is the breaking of old chains. That is old energy leaving. That is the past losing its hold. That is your future arriving. So move forward with courage, with faith, with holy fire. The world needs the real you. The healed you. The bright and awakened version of you that no longer questions the miracle they are. This is no longer a warning. It is a call to awaken to your greatness. Go now. Love. Create. Speak. Shine. Lead. Rest. Be. Because heaven stands behind every step you take. And your name, yes, your name, is already written on the victory that has been signed and sealed. You are ready. You are covered. You are chosen. And the future is waiting to welcome you. This message ends here. But your new beginning starts now with divine authority and eternal protection. Archangel Michael sparkles. And if these words touched your soul, remember this is not simply a message. It is a moment between heaven and you. Save it. Return to it. Live it. My child, We run entirely on viewer support. If you'd like to help keep this mission and these messages reaching more hearts, you can support us with a coffee through the link in the description. God bless you.